U.S. President Donald Trump openly fought with two top Democratic lawmakers at an Oval Office meeting. Trump bickered with U.S. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi about funding for his border wall. He threatened to shut down the government if the Congress didn't provide $5 billion worth of funds needed to build a wall at the Mexican border. He called for the meeting at some federal government spending is set to expire on December 21st. Canadian court has granted bail to Huawei's chief financial officer, 46-year-old Meng Wanzhou, was arrested as a part of a U.S. fraud investigation on December 1st. Reports suggest that a former Canadian diplomat had been detained in China amid Beijing's outrage over the arrest of Wanzhou. The U.S. State Department expressed its concerns over these reports. It's urged Beijing to end arbitrary detention. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the Israel-Lebanon border, where the Israeli army has been dismantling tunnels. The Prime Minister has warned HEZBOLLAH not to re-establish the front. He said that if HEZBOLLAH strikes Israel or tries to resist this action against tunnels, Israel will retaliate in a manner in which they cannot even imagine. The UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon confirmed the presence of one tunnel near the Israeli town of Metula last week. French President Emmanuel Macron caved into the Yellow Vest protest. He announced wage increases for the poorest workers. He also announced a tax cut for the most pensioners in order to bring an end to a near-month-long protest. France will be overshooting the European Union's budget deficit ceiling next year. Macron's new measures are expected to leave a $11 billion hole in the Treasury's finances. A gunman killed over 3 people and critically wounded over 11 others near a Christmas market in French city of Strasbourg. According to the police, the suspected gunman has been identified, but he is still on the run. Police say that he had exchanged gunfire with the suspect. French President Emmanuel Macron sent the Interior Minister to Strasbourg after the shooting. Interior Minister Christopher Castaner said that the gunman was known to security services and the local prefecture said he was on an intelligence services watch list. An attempt to oust British Prime Minister Theresa May gathered pace. This after May decided to delay a vote in Parliament on her Brexit deal. She went on a tour of European capitals on Tuesday to ease lawmakers' concerns, particularly over the so-called Northern Irish backstop. May also met German Chancellor Merkel. She told her that it was in nobody's interest for Britain to leave with no accord. European Commission had also said the deal they achieved was the best possible. There was no room whatsoever for renegotiations. Yemen's government and the Houthi rebels delegation have agreed on a mass prisoner swap at the peace talks in Sweden. They have exchanged more than 15,000 names for the swap. These names include UAE and Saudi citizens. However, the government warned that the talks wouldn't lead to a truce. This will be the largest prison exchange between the two rival parties since the conflict began 4 years ago. The exchange will be completed by January and the International Committee of the Red Cross will oversee it. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said that the company has no plans right now to launch Chinese search engines. Pichai told the U.S. House of Representatives Judiciary Committee that there are no current discussions with the Chinese government. This came at a time when concerns have been raised that Google would comply with China's internet censorship if it re-enters its market. Pichai was being grilled by the committee on various topics, including perceived bias. He denied the allegations of his company having any political bias. A Virginia jury sentenced to life in a prison a self-described neo-Nazi. He had killed a woman by ramming his car into a crowd. The crowd had been protesting white supremacist rallies in Charlottesville. The jury found 21-year-old James Fields to be guilty of first-degree murder and 9 other crimes. He had killed Heather Heyer, who was 32, and had injured about 19 people. Poland's children made an appeal to the negotiators at the UN Climate Summit. They asked them to show responsibility and reach an agreement on ways to fight climate change. They made this appeal at a session where almost 200 nations were participating. The head of UN's panel on climate change said that the world needs to do more to prevent global warming. The 2-week talks that were ongoing in Katowice, Poland, are set to decide on how countries would report their emissions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Talas. Mr. Lee, you have
it. Giant blocks were shipped over from Greenland to London. They were displayed on the banks of River Thames to raise awareness on climate change. The blocks were a part of an artwork titled Ice Watch. The artist hoped that the melting ice reminds passerbys of the impact of global warming. The installation was unveiled outside the Tate Modern on Tuesday. It was made to coincide with the COP24 Climate Change Summit taking place in Poland. Two Russian Tu-160 strategic bombers capable of carrying nuclear weapons landed in Venezuela. This in a symbolic show of support for the Nicolas Maduro government. This activity by the Russians infuriated Washington. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo criticized the two governments on Twitter. He said that two corrupt governments were squandering public funds and squelching liberty and freedom while their people suffered. Meanwhile, the Kremlin rejected U.S. criticism, saying it had been inappropriate and wrong of the U.S. Secretary to condemn the flight of two nuclear-capable strategic bombers. U.S. First Lady Melania Trump attended the annual toy drive held by the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve. The drive was part of the Toys for Tots charity, which collects and distributes new toys to needy children. Mrs. Trump donated 100 books to the program. She helped children make holiday cards and sort the donated gifts. She also gave candies and coloring books to children inside bags that said to be the best. Be Best is her child welfare initiative. Brazilians are training to becoming better Santas. They participated in a crash course at a school. The free course is led by actor Silvio Ribeiro, who owns a casting agency called CLAUS Productions. He helps men and women interested in taking Christmas-related jobs during the festive season. They learn everything from saying their ho-ho-hos to putting on makeup. They also learn how to deal with children of all ages and social backgrounds. Ribeiro plays dance music to get the Santas into the Christmas spirit. Athens kicked off the holiday season by lighting a metallic Christmas tree. The tree was lit in the capital's main square near the parliament. People carrying colourful umbrellas participated in the festivities under the rain. They took photos in front of the lit Christmas tree. Musicians performed holiday songs on stage. Britain's Prince Harry and Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, were impersonated by two actors at Berlin's Madame Tussauds Museum. They were wearing latex masks which were modelled on the couple. The live wax Harry and Meghan became the latest attraction at the museum. They received compliments and applause. Visitors felt that an expecting royal couple was better news for Christmas than the looming chaos surrounding the Brexit.